Oh, sweating. Just had breakfast. Back on regular programming, as I said in an Instagram post earlier. Just wanted to do a quick video discussing current approach to food, because I know a lot of you see that I talk about, meals off, cheat meals, refeeds and whatnot. And first thing I want to say, like disclaimer, yeah, things will only work if they work. If you do something and it doesn't work, then don't do it. Like honestly, like I wouldn't say to do something if it didn't do jack for you. Like, and with bodybuilding, everything's so individual, and honestly, I would rather an approach where I don't do this. But after all the years of feedback on my body and how it responds to prepping and as it gets close to a show, I know that it is extremely necessary for me to have quite extreme feeds in order to stop myself from going overboard. Could it be managed by maybe volume management, output? Maybe, but then there's also this problem with, if you're doing that, are you training hard enough to warrant the muscle tissue that you require to go on stage with? Because if you start scaling back on training too much, first and foremost, the body's then like, okay, well, I'm not really training hard, so I don't really need the muscle. So then on the back of that, what will happen is that the body will be less calorific anyway. It's going to be like, I don't need as many calories to sustain what I have. So if anything, you're going to hurt yourself in regards to your diet, because it means you're probably going to have to lower your food to get the same result. So, although I do agree that you need to adjust that, that will come later. And that comes depending on what's happening once you've manipulated, your nutrition. So I would say nutrition first, training after. That's kind of the approach that's been approached right now. So let me just explain what's been going on over the last few weeks. So a good few weeks back, ran myself down, body start to change, weight gets to a new low. So what do? That's when you do, high carbohydrate day, maybe a little bit additional fats, measure, see how much you're adding, see what the result is, look at yourself the next day, see how many days it takes to get back down to baseline and beyond. So that was something that was done. Then the feedback from that is that, for me personally, is that it didn't have a substantial enough effect. And therefore, the following time that I got into the same position, we did 2 days of that, which is great. But 2 days of eating excessive food is quite a lot of stress on the stomach. It's 2 days of being away from the mindset of moving towards something. And if anything, if you're like me, when you're eating a high volume of food, you actually feel quite guilty. So the adjustment that was made off the back of that information, both physically and obviously mentally, was let's cram more calories into 1 day and do a 1 day feed, but with the use of foods that are more calorie dense, i.e. off-plan meals. Again, I will reiterate that if you do this and your baseline weight isn't backed down below the previous week within 7 days, then you're doing something wrong. You have to adjust things. You're probably not in a low enough calorie spot in between those days. My days of training in between are around 350 grams of carbs tops. I don't know the exact calories. I'm not too fussed about that. But just so you know, like the amount of carbohydrate energy that I'm acquiring, fats are not very high and protein's moderate. So those days are low enough to see me be in what is a deficit. And then that's what's allowing me to get to the weekend. Well, I say weekend, it seems to be happening at the weekend, but it's not the weekend. It's just the time that it takes in order to get back down to, like I say, below baseline. It was taking roughly a week. Granted, this week it took quicker. This week it was, I think I was Sunday, and then it was Friday. So Sunday to Friday, I had a feed on Sunday and I had a feed on Friday. So things do start to pick up. Now I'm currently at a point where I'm monitoring output a little bit in regards to like cardio. I was doing bike, but my legs started to look quite tired in my morning shots. So now what's been done is implemented just walking around the block. a decent length of walk. It's probably only about 25 minutes maybe, and it's not in crazy like brisk or anything. But I still weigh in the 270s. It's a good amount of body weight. Metabolism is obviously quite revved up off the back of these feeds, so it's in a pretty good spot. I'm allowing my body to work for me rather than against me. Obviously, there's the use of certain supplements that help with fat loss, but even that hasn't had to be very extreme at all. And if you if you want to know more about that stuff, get involved with the circles links in the description, because there we can be a little bit more. I suppose I can be a little bit more open about how I approach things on that front. But for now, regarding nutrition and stuff, this is definitely a good place to discuss it. This week, like, I've got my book where I write, everything that I do. Typically, I write my body weight in the morning, what I'm training, and what day it is, whether it be a low day, a high day, or a refeed day. Because a high day and a refeed day have been different, but I haven't had to do a high day for a while. We've literally just done low and refeeds. So let me just go back through this book for you, just to give you an understanding of like where I was maybe a few weeks back, because it's currently, I think it's the 20th of August now. So on the 3rd of the previous month, 282, and then my lowest was yesterday morning, so the 19th was 270. So that's 12 pounds on, I believe that's the previous month. Might be the month before. Let's just double check for you, so I don't want to give you false information. No, I think that's the previous month. So 12 pounds lost over like a 4-week period. It's a lot of weight. We are approaching a weight now where I think my weight will probably float around that 270 on the low, and it'll just be a case of kind of adjusting the look and just shaving off some fat. I don't think I'll get much lighter, because certain things are being introduced as certain things are being taken away. So I'm obviously, like I say, resting a little bit more, pulling back a little bit on the amount of output in the gym in order to get a little bit better recovery. And just to ensure that the sets that I do are good, because if the volume's too high, you end up just adding shitty sets to your workout, which kind of, expends energy, but mentally it's not really a good thing to do, because if you feel like you underperform or see a set that isn't to standard, then that's very easy to be like, you know what, I don't feel good about this. So right now, the beginning of prep, I was doing 4 sets. I was doing 8 sets per body part. So on push day, I was doing chest, shoulders, triceps. So that was 8, 8, 8. And then on abs, I was doing 6. And then like quads on leg day, I was doing 8. Hams, 8. I was doing a couple of abductor movements and calf movements, but nowhere near that many sets. But 8 was kind of like the baseline. And then that got scaled back a few weeks back to 6. And there's no real set way. When I say 6, I mean it can be divulged into, 3 sets times 2 exercises, or it could be, 3 exercises times 2 sets. It could be 6 exercises 1 set. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as that volume is floating around the same marks and my output is pretty, consistent. Because that's all I'm trying to do on this prep, is be very consistent, and then any adjustments made from that point forward, keep it there. So the next call on this is probably going to be pulling back to like 5 sets from the 6, but then working out the distribution. So let's say, for example, it's I'm doing quads. It could be 1 set of extensions, 2 sets of hack, and then I don't know, 2 sets of Bulgarian, something like that. Rather than right now, I'm doing either 3 sets of hack, 3 sets of extension, or however I distribute it. So anyway, not to bore you, because we're talking about food, but just give you an insight of that. So anyway, got to yesterday, 270, so went for a feed day. And a feed day just looks like this. Basically, the first 3 meals of the day are just regular clean meals, but with some additional food. So yesterday, meal 1, I had, there will be some overlay on this as well, I had 2 bagels with jam, 120 grams of cream of rice, 60 grams of whey, 100 grams of blueberries, 20 grams of almond butter. My regular breakfast is just 100 grams of core. 60 grams of whey, 100 blueberries. So there was additional fats and carbs in that meal, as you can see. The second meal of the day was taken from, again, my regular meal, which is 100 grams of rice, dry weight, 200 grams of chicken, and bumped up to 225 grams of rice, 200 grams of chicken, and I think 30 grams of almond butter. So additional 30 grams of almond butter as well as the extra carbs. And then trained legs yesterday. Volume was the six sets per body part, and it was a pretty good workout. After training, regular meal would be 100 grams of rice and 180 grams of salmon fillet. I usually just get the pre-steamed ones because they're just easy to eat and I love the flavour. Morrison's seem to have the best tasting ones. So I do that. But then yesterday, obviously, I added again. It was 150 grams of rice with the same amount of salmon and an additional 150 grams of cream of rice. No additional fats in that meal because it's post-workout, even though there's fats in the salmon. And yeah, that was that. So then those are the first 3 meals a day. So after that, I'm kind of given free rein. So headed into London yesterday. Went to Honest Burger, ordered the tribute burger, some fries, some onion rings, some gravy, some coleslaw. And I think that's it because I didn't want to overdo it. So what I don't like to eat too much in one sitting. Like I'd rather eat something, move around a little bit, give my stomach a little bit of a break and then come back to it. I've made the mistake last time when me and Jordan, because Jordan's food fell on the same day as mine, me and Jordan had some food together and we went too ham, too quick, and I was busted. So tried to pace myself yesterday. Went with Yannicka, my good friend Luke, and his good lady Jodie. We went to London Bridge. So that's cool. You know, I like going there because it's like you get on your feet, you move around a little bit, get on a bus, get on a train, get out, see some things rather than just feeling like you're in super duper prep mode. Had a little stroll after eating in Honest Burger down the Thames, only by London Bridge, nothing too crazy. Tower Bridge, London Bridge area. So after I'd eaten that, like I say, it's free reign, so there's no real set plan. The main plan really is 2 main meals and then anything in between. So I grabbed a peanut butter cookie from this donut shack. I can't remember the name of it. You'll know what it is because I was told the donuts are good, but they didn't have any donuts. We got there late. Got there like 5 minutes before it was shut, so there was scraps left. But I will say the cookie was nice, and then the cookie obviously set off my taste buds. So we took a stroll down to Cote, or Cote, whatever you want to call it. Went in there and we were like, listen guys, we just want dessert menus. We're going straight to dessert. Me and my friends, we ordered a chocolate banana crepe, or crepe, whatever you want to call it, each. Just had that. Nothing too heavy, and it was good. And then it was kind of like time to come home. And, you know, obviously the travel time to come home, walking around, great bit of time to give you some break on the stomach. By the time I was home, I was like, you know what, it's time for that second meal. So I ordered a curry. Chicken tikka masala, this is what I always get. A couple of lamb samosas. I didn't actually eat them, I fucking didn't eat them. Lamb samosas, a peshwari naan, vegetable biryani, and that vegetable biryani I believe comes with like this vegetable curry as well. That was pretty good. Wasn't as good as the one I had last week at Jordan's. There was one at Jordan's called Spice Exchange. If you're in Gloucestershire and you want a good takeaway, Spice Exchange is so creamy. It's one of the best Indians I've had. No BS, I swear down on my life. This one was Sakura, which is in the area that I live, and it was alright, but it was a little bit thinner, a little bit less oily, a little bit less yogurty. It was decent, but it was not a 10 out of 10 like the one that was at Jordan's. This was probably like a 7.5 out of 10. But I will say this, it was quite light, so it was easy to eat. It didn't make me feel sick. Woke up this morning feeling fine, so that's self-explanatory in itself. I got to rate the others as well. So the Honest Burger is always like a solid 8.5 out of 10. The Tribute Burger is nice. I can't remember what's really in it, but the Tribute Burger is probably the best one on the list, and the chips are always good. The gravy is very good, so do get the gravy. It's bacon gravy. And so that's that. Then I fell asleep on the sofa, and I tell you, I started sweating like a pig. I was like, those prep day feels, like the ones when I used to have, because when I was younger I used to do like whole cheat days. A lot of the shows that I won when I was younger actually involved a cheat day once a week, you know, on a Sunday or Saturday, just kind of go in and then just get back to plan the next day, little mental break, just go get up in the morning, do your cardio, sweat like a pig and enjoy it. And so I woke up in the night, I had a tub of Ben and Jerry's awaiting me. There's one thing to say actually, before I had my curry when I got in, I did eat a rock cake. If you've ever had a rock cake, it's just one of these hard, kind of like scony like breaded goods from the bakery. I got that from around the corner earlier in the day in preparation for later. For some reason I fancied it. Was it good? It was okay. It was probably only a 6 out of 10. It was pretty bland, but the texture was what I was after at the time. Sometimes it's a way up between flavour and texture, guys. It's not always about flavour. Sometimes you just want some sort of texture. So that was alright. It was alright. Didn't really need it, but it was some extra calories which was required, so it went in. Back to the present day. Ben and Jerry's caramel core. Oh, that's so good. That's like my favourite thing. I was just whole thing. I was watching videos on Dino Crisis, eating that in the early hours, and I was just happy. I was just like, sweet, tomorrow's going to be a good day. And then the last thing was a bowl of crunchy nut granola, and that was me. I was blown out, full to the brim. I was like, you know what? There's no way I'm getting any more in me today. I'm done. And I slept like a baby. I don't sleep at the minute on prep. It never happens. I literally fall asleep at like, let's say 10 p.m. And I feel like I've had a whole night sleep. I wake up and it's like 10:15. And I literally sit on the sofa all night downstairs, hungry. And do you know what I do? I eat ice. I eat ice, and occasionally I might have a diet drink just to combat that. But so if you're wondering if it's normal to like not sleep, absolutely not normal. Absolutely normal, sorry, to not sleep if you're on prep and if your calories are low enough. So imagine if I was putting my calories even lower. Like if I can't sleep already, then what's it going to do? It's just going to make a bigger hole. So that's how I know I'm doing, you know, kind of enough. Some people will watch this video and be like, this is absolute nonsense. You shouldn't be doing that. That's cool. You do your thing. I'm doing mine. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having fun. I've got a lot going on in my life at the minute that's fun. And I like approaching bodybuilding in a manner that I enjoy. Been doing it long enough that I want to just enjoy it. I'm happy with my check-ins. I'm happy with my images. Shared a few on Instagram, so things are moving in the right direction. Many ways to skin a cat. And again, only put £6 on last night. So went from 270 to 276. And now the next bit's just get back to work and see when it's back down or below and see when improvement on condition occurs. And really the main areas where I'm noticing like condition jumps, quads get tired by like a few days in where they actually blur and look like they're softer. But hams and glutes start to get more dug out. So the quads came to life today in the check-in because of eating, so the separation was a lot more clear. So after I eat, my legs come back alive. That's one thing I notice. But yeah, really now it's just about getting that back to come in, shoulder tie-ins, just thinning in the skin. Thinning the skin. So we'll see. We got like 5 weeks on Sunday. I'm really happy. Like I was in the bathroom earlier, it's got the worst light. Worst light. And I was drying myself off the shower and I was just looking at my glutes and I was like, they're pretty like good for where like, you know, 5 weeks out. Like they could be ready if I wanted in a week and a half. But obviously I'm pacing myself. The whole point of these feeds is to slow the process, hopefully hold a bit more tissue and bring a look that's a lot more fresh. Because that's what I'm trying to do this year, is just be more fresh on stage. So anyway, I think I've probably said enough. And I've probably put some of you bodybuilders off because you're probably dieting half the shows and like, why does he get to eat? Honestly, it probably only works because I've done it in my history, but also because being quite a heavy bodybuilder, I think the heavier you are, the more tissue you carry, probably are likely to be able to get away with more calorie-dense foods. Again, I wouldn't advise it for everybody. I don't think it's the best way to approach things for everybody, but it is the best way for some people. And I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was what was right for me. So I'm going to leave it there. God bless you all. Hope you enjoyed. Remember guys, if you want your PFT clothing, it is at the James Hollingshead store, which is link in the bio. If you need your tough wraps, your knee sleeves, you know, anything like that, accessories for gym, hit them up, link in there. Yamamoto supplements, all of my basically connections are down below. You want to check out the podcast with Fuad, you want to check out the circles, down below. The one thing I do ask, please, 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 is be nice in the comments, look after each other as a community, sub, share, like, and I'll continue to do videos, and I'll continue to be someone that tries to be transparent as fuck, and it's nothing but love. So yeah, hope you enjoy, guys, and I'll see you soon, because my next video actually is one that Maddie's working on from Fade Films. It's actually a workout with Louis Moylan from a few days back, but obviously her videos are a bit better quality than mine, so they take a little bit of edit time, and I hope you enjoy that. So I'll catch you soon. I'm going to watch some skating videos. Peace!